Good morning, everyone. Tina Spalding Trance Channel here today for day 16, a morning session with Jesus. Let's see what he has to say to us today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And some of the lessons that are coming through are challenging for you, and some of the lessons that are coming through are easy for you. What we want you to understand is that the lessons that are coming through are perfect for you. We cannot throw you difficult things all the time, and we cannot throw you easy things all the time. This is an ebb and flow, just like the seasons ebb and flow. If it was summer all the time, it would be too much for you. If it was winter all the time, it would be too much for you. Deep and intensive lessons all the time are too much for you. We want you to understand that there are going to be some days where you think, well, that wasn't revelatory, and other days where you think, oh my goodness, I've never heard that before. This is the best thing ever. So we want you to understand this as you're going through these 40 days and 40 nights. Our dear one is going through the same process. There are days where it is easy for her to do these videos, and there are days where it's tremendously challenging to do these videos because of other obligations that she has, and she has to do them in difficult circumstances or when she's tired. So one of the things we want you to understand as you are sharing in her work is that there is no obligation here for her. She is doing this because she wants to, and she knows that this is a difficult time in your planet and everybody needs help. So when there is an error of some kind, please restrain yourselves from complaining. Our dear one made a simple mistake the other day where a message or a video was scheduled for the wrong time, and so it did not show up when expected. Several dozen messages came in, some politely mentioning that this error had happened, but others quite nastily pointing out that, well, it can't be that much trouble to load up a video twice a day. Why isn't she doing it? We want you to understand that for those of you that come at this being with negativity, if she makes a simple mistake, if her day gets away from her, if her Wi-Fi goes down, if she gets a flat tire and can't come home, it is not your place to attack, judge, or condemn her for missing or being late. You are lucky to have these sessions. This being is generous doing this work. If there are any negative feelings coming up in you because of an error on her part, that is your issue to deal with. That is your issue to deal with. This being has free will. She could stop doing this any moment and say, you know what? It's too much for me. This causes too much pressure doing these videos. Everyone's just going to have to deal with things themselves. So do not send emails complaining. She has very diligent associates who will let her know that an error has been made. Within minutes of it being made, there will be a message coming her way from her diligent co-workers who say, something's not right, please try and fix it. So let us all agree that if Tina makes another mistake, that you will wait patiently for the correction. Our dear one wanted us to address this today because the several dozen emails made a lot of work for her co-worker that was really unnecessary. Her co-worker is very polite and good at her job, and so she answered many of these emails, but it was an unnecessary amount of work. So if another error occurs, witness your upset and work on it. This is what forgiveness work is about. Any of you that got upset at this error that our dear one made must look inside and ask yourself, am I perfect? Do I never make mistakes? Am I never late? Am I never delinquent? Am I never messy or imperfect? Of course, all of you are. This being is human. This being is doing this voluntarily. And when you are setting up a YouTube video, all it takes is one tiny error, clicking on the wrong box when you're tired, clicking on the wrong box if you read it incorrectly, and there goes 5,000 people being mad at you. So let us not do that to this being. In the beginning of these sessions, she kindly asked you not to be hung up on when these things were going to come into being. She knows that over a several week period, there will be times when she makes an error, when the Wi-Fi goes out, when technology does not cooperate. She understands this because she's been doing this for a long time. So all of you, please relax and know that if it's not showing up, there's a very, very good reason for it, and it will show up shortly. Now, the lesson in this is watching your own volatility, watching your own anger that somebody has not met your expectations, watching your reactions to not getting what you want. This is what this lesson is for. So for those of you that have expressed dissatisfaction with our dear one over this particular incident, go inside and ask yourself why the reaction was so strong, why there is a sense of entitlement to these lessons, and to inquire as to the reason why this response or attack was made. We want you to understand that everything in your life is to show you something. If you do not get what you want, and you are able to maintain your equilibrium, then you will find much less suffering in your life. As these changes in your earth continue, as your society goes through these different configurations, many of which will be challenging, it is going to be much more beneficial to you to be able to maintain calm in stormy waters. So let us see this little lesson as a perfect example of how not to behave in some people's cases and how to behave in others. There were some who were calmly waiting, thinking, something's happened. Just as when somebody doesn't show up at your house, it doesn't mean they disrespect you. It doesn't mean they don't care about you. They may have a flat tire. They may not be able to let you know. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I'll speak to you again later. Thank you, Jesus, for addressing that issue. Yes, when I load up a video, there is a scheduling date, and for some reason it went out 3 days later than it should have. A tiny little box, so whether or not I clicked it, I don't know. But it does cause a lot of work for my assistant if 50 people email telling me that it's not on there. I understand that a lot of you think it's helpful, but we do have many people. It doesn't, we don't need 50 people telling us that I missed something. It is difficult. Occasionally those things happen and it makes me not want to do this. But I keep going and understand that everyone who sent the email probably feels like they're assisting, but we don't need that many. So thank you. And if I make another mistake, rest assured somebody has already pointed it out to me. I'll see you later. Bye.